The bandwagon, you guys are awesome, man.
Hey, this is Bernard Pollard, 9-year NFL vet, Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens, and you're listening to The Bandwagon.
In today's episode of The Bandwagon, tell Mother Phyllis to fix that bowl cut, you douche. Super Bowl 47 champion safety Bernard Pollard joins the show.
When it comes down to X's and O's on offense and defense, he does not know them. I'm just being 100% honest with you. He doesn't know them.
And?
Why is your mind just really abstract today? What's going on? Yeah.
I'm woke.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
He rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. Rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet, rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet. Blow, rockin' Robin, 'cause we really gonna rock 'em tonight.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today is Friday, November 10th, 2017. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's edition of the Bandwagon of Sports podcast. We have a great show for you today as former NFL safety and former Baltimore Raven, most importantly, and we'll get into that in a second. Bernard Pollard joins the show from a university in the middle of Wisconsin. My name is Alex Strouf. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_Strouf, S-T-R-O-U-F. It is freezing to death out here. It was 13 degrees today with a wind chill. Just awesome temperature. Now from the University of North Carolina, go Tar Heels. My right-hand man, my partner in crime, Mr. Victor Hensley. You can find him on Twitter at Freezeal, F-R-E-Z-E-A-L-33, Freezeal33 on Twitter. Mr. Victor.
What up, bud? How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
How often do you hear "What up, bud"?
Not often.
Yeah, you live in Wisconsin. That's probably why.
Do people say that a lot in North Carolina? What up, bud?
How is it being snowed on?
It was not fun. But that's not the first time it snowed in the last couple weeks. So, I mean, that wasn't the bad part. It was just how cold it was. It was absolutely awful.
Well, it's the beginning of November, so you better gear up. Better suit up.
Bundle up, huh?
Ice up, son.
You know who better? You know who better bundle up?
Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, but no. Eric Bledsoe, he got traded from Phoenix to Milwaukee, and it's time for one of our newest segments, One Word, where we're going to start today. Eric Bledsoe got traded from the Phoenix Suns to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for Greg Monroe and protected first and second round picks. So Milwaukee sending that to Phoenix. So one word for Bledsoe to the Bucks, Vic.
Champions. They got this. They got the league on lock.
All right, so one word to describe Victor is dumb.
Wow.
One word to describe Bledsoe to the Bucks is notice. Take notice, NBA. Not champions. Not champions, but take notice. This is going to be a powerhouse in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, they're going to be pretty good.
How do you feel about this move, though, all in all?
It's an awesome move. Like, they got Eric Bledsoe without having to give up, obviously, Giannis or Malcolm Brogdon. Like this was the best case scenario.
Or Chris Middleton.
Like, they're not gonna be champions. I was just overreacting a little bit, but they're gonna be good, 100%. Because Eric Bledsoe, I think, is really underrated.
Yeah, and I obviously this is a great move. You give up Greg Monroe, who just doesn't do a whole lot, as is. I mean, he played, but he just wasn't an Eric Bledsoe type of guy who's probably going to play 35, 40 minutes a night when we get toward the end of the season in playoff time. So giving up Monroe isn't a big deal. I mean, they lose that big body, the Bucks do. However, you know, the only problem the Bucks have now is, and I tweeted this earlier this week, is bodying up a big man. But you still have Giannis Antetokounmpo, you have John Henson, you have Thon Maker, who's young. You have guys who can body him up. It's just going to be interesting. They didn't have a good outing against the Cavs, their first game without Greg Monroe defensively in the post earlier this week. But Eric Bledsoe suiting up for the Bucks starting this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be very interesting to see how he fits in to the Milwaukee scheme. Staying with basketball now, NCAA basketball starts tonight, Vic. One word for NCAA basketball being back.
Oh, you already know my word. Speaking of champions, I'm gonna have to go with repeat.
Any bias included there?
Not whatsoever. I don't even.
Right.
I'm not even a Tar Heel fan. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's a lie.
That's not-
You might not want people from that university to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
My word is madness. Haha, see what I did there. I'm
you're a
comedian.
jokester. I like it.
I am.
Yeah.
But seriously, this is going to be good. So your pick is UNC, correct?
No, it's actually not UNC whatsoever. I don't think we're gonna be all that great. Our point guard's an idiot, and he punched a wall and broke his hand after losing a game of Madden or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Joel Berry, he punched a door and broke his hand, so he's out for like a month.
How did I not hear about
Yeah.
this?
I don't know, dude. But so that happened. We don't have a big man. That's very good. Yeah, we're gonna be all right, but we're not gonna be champions again. Who you got winning it all right now?
Yeah, so we mentioned how people from UNC on that campus or UNC fans, as is, probably shouldn't be listening right now, because we talked about it before the show a little bit. Duke's ranked number 1. They look really, really good. And, I mean, I could probably say, like 4 or 5, Kansas and Kentucky are going to win it all because that's always a safe bet. But so is Duke, so I might as well put all the chips in with the home of J.J. Redick.
That was kind of random. He did go there. I'm also probably going to go with the home of Grant Hill. And I'll probably say at this point in time, Duke will probably win. They've got like the number 1, what is it called? Like they've pretty much got like the number 1 recruit on every single position. Like they got like the number 1 small forward, number 1 point guard, like everything. So they're young. They're gonna be good, except Duke, Coach K. They'll be good all year long. They'll get to the tournament. They'll lose like first round.
Choke.
Yep. Coach K is a big choker. So I don't know. As of right now, I gotta go Duke, but we don't know about that. Marvin Bagley looks good.
We don't know.
Yeah, somehow they got him to come out a year early. I think they're gonna be all right. I hope not. But I think they're gonna be all right.
Fair enough. Staying with college now. Smooth transitions. The Week 11 college football playoff rankings came out earlier this week on Tuesday. One word to describe the current college football rankings, and we'll dive into them a little bit.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Okay, fair. My word is HMM ... That's a word now.
I think I would use it as a word. That would be in my dictionary.
Perfect. I appreciate your support.
Of course.
So why perfect?
Because in my opinion, who they've got in the top 4 right now, that's who needs to be in the top 4.
No, I agree.
I mean, Georgia's killing it. Alabama's Alabama. Notre Dame, like they have a loss. They lost to Georgia barely at the beginning of the season.
20-19 was the final.
They're really good. Notre Dame is really good. I think they're gonna clobber Miami this weekend. So there you go. That's my little hot take, I guess, or something.
That'll be a good game. That'll be a good game.
So I'm really happy with it. There's some teams I know you might think Wisconsin should be in there or whatever, but like I'm happy with where we are right now.
No, I'm happy with the top 4. I'm totally cool with the top 4. Yeah, you mentioned Notre Dame. They lost 19-20 against Georgia earlier this year. Those are 2 really good teams. Alabama's Alabama, like you said. And Clemson, they're 8-1. They look good. I don't think they have a reason to be outside the top 4. Past there, though, Oklahoma, TCU, both with 1 loss. And then Miami ahead of Wisconsin at 7 and Wisconsin at 8. Both Miami and Wisconsin undefeated teams, the other 2 in the top 10 that are undefeated besides Georgia and Alabama. So I don't like the fact that, I don't know, what's the criteria? Obviously, you and I talked about it a little bit before, too. Wisconsin hasn't played anybody of notice. I mean, they really haven't. They have Iowa this weekend, which will help. Iowa's ranked 20th in the CFP poll. And the following week, they have Michigan, who's 21 in the AP poll. So 2 solid teams that aren't, like, over the top really good, but 2 solid competition teams, even though Michigan isn't as good as we thought they were going to be this year. But if Wisconsin wins out, their 4 remaining games, obviously, like we said, Iowa, Michigan, I think it's Illinois or Minnesota the final week of the regular season. If they win those 3, they go to the Big Ten champ, and that'll either be Penn State or Ohio State. Probably Ohio State would be my best guess. And if they win that, then they're in. I mean, there's no doubt. We talked a little bit, though. 1 and 2 are both SEC teams. SEC East is Georgia, and SEC West is Alabama. They're going to play each other in the SEC championship game, we assume. If one of them loses in that game, you think one of them's out of the playoffs.
100%.
Correct?
100%. Because in the past, we looked at this before the show. We proved this, that the committee pretty much only puts people in that win conference championships. That's all it's been. It's always conference championship winners. So you're not going to have 2 teams from the same conference make it. So in my opinion, Georgia and Alabama are going to have to play each other. So one of them is going to take an L, and whoever takes the L is not going to make it. The only thing,
No, go ahead.
is Alabama might lose before that. They got a tough test last game before the championship, and that's against Auburn. That's going to be a good game. So
yeah, Auburn ranked 10th in both the CFB and the AP polls.
So I think it's going to be exciting. But one thing me and you talked about also is you just mentioned with Wisconsin. You think Wisconsin's in if they win out. I think so too, and I think anytime a team goes undefeated, they should be in. Obviously, the only issue would be if like 5 or 6 teams won't go undefeated. Obviously, all of them can go in. But I think if Wisconsin goes undefeated, if UCF goes undefeated, they both need to be in. I don't care what the schedule looks like. I was mad that Western Michigan didn't make it in the playoff last year after going 12-0.
Western Michigan lost to Wisconsin in a bowl game.
They did.
Like a lot.
But
they got rolled.
But the thing is, here's the thing I don't like is you've got these schools, right? These smaller schools like Western Michigan, UCF, people like that. Essentially, what you're telling me is they go undefeated. They go 12-0. They've done everything perfectly, and they still can't make it in the playoff. And it's like, at that point, if I'm a player or a coach for that school or a fan even, I'm like, what's the point? Because in my opinion, if I'm a fan, I don't want to watch a team that has no shot at a championship, right?
Yeah.
So in my opinion,
I mean, yeah,
it's a thing like if you go undefeated in basketball, who went undefeated almost in basketball a few years ago? Who was that?
Wichita State.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and they ended up being good. And it's just like, I feel like you need to be seated high in basketball if your team's undefeated going into the tournament or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Because I don't care who you play. It's hard to win every single game. I don't care if you're an NBA team playing a bunch of high school teams in a row. It's hard to win every single game you play. And that's just facts. So, I mean, yeah, UCF doesn't really play that many people. They score about 70 points a game. So, in my opinion, they should be in if they go undefeated. That's just how it is. And maybe other people would disagree. I don't know. But personally, I think that's how it should be. And I think you're kind of discriminating against some of these other schools by just not letting them in. So that's my take on it. I don't know how anybody else feels about that. People are probably going to grill me for that because, obviously people like Oklahoma should be in over UCF. But I don't know. I just take undefeated teams real seriously.
So
that's my take.
I should probably start calling you Mr. Mid-Major because you respect the mid-major.
I love me some mid-majors. I'm a big fan of the underdogs.
See, so I see.
Go Oakland University.
Oh, unbelievable. No, I see where you're coming from, but I think it's just hard to. So let's say Miami, Wisconsin, Georgia all go undefeated. UCF goes undefeated. You put UCF at 4 and Alabama at 5.
Yeah. The thing is, it's silly. I agree with that, but that's why the playoffs should be expanded. But as of right now, that sucks because Alabama deserves to be in it, even if they lose to Georgia or lose to Auburn, whoever they lose to. They deserve to be in because they're very, very good. But I just can't sit there and say, okay, this is a team who's perfect. Like UCF, for example. UCF blows out almost everybody. They're killing everybody. Like I said, they scored like 74 points the other week. Like, they're doing really, really well. So you're going to tell those kids playing for that school, okay, you can do everything perfectly, but you know what? You're still not good enough to get in. Like, that's kind of that's disrespectful. That's kind of BS. And it sucks, but it's also like it's this Power 5 conference bias that we all have.
Yep.
That we're all like, the only good conferences are the Power 5.
Yep.
And it's just like, that's not accurate. You got good schools in some of these other conferences. So I want them to get a chance rather than have one bowl game against Wisconsin or whoever. Like, I don't know, give them more of a chance than that. I don't know. That maybe I'm on an island by myself with that, but that's how I feel.
Huh. Yeah, you're going to remain on the island by yourself. I know it sucks, but you bring up the Power 5. It just makes sense to me. I don't know. It'll be interesting. You're probably right about the expansion, maybe even 6 teams. But then you have to add an extra week, and then it becomes all this crazy.
But listen to me, Alex. What is the one reason we love college basketball?
Because everybody's got a shot, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. The thing is, like, most likely Alabama would clobber a team like UCF. There's a good chance. But if we don't sit there and put them against each other, we're not going to know. Like, yeah, you can sit here and say LSU and Troy play in the regular season, which Troy actually beat LSU. Like, yes, yeah, Alabama plays some crappy schools, in the regular season, but that's different.
Yeah.
I'm sure if if Kentucky was sitting here playing Little Angel preschool in regular season of basketball, they'd probably kill them. But it's something about a tournament, something about playoffs to get people motivated, to get people hyped.
Hold on. Did you just say Little Angel preschool?
Yeah. Is there an issue?
Is that where you went to preschool?
That's not, but I think I went to Nana's Angels. That was my preschool.
There you go.
I'm not kidding. Nah, that's my always generic thing for like the school that sucks. I always call them Little Angel preschool.
Never heard you say that. I like it though.
Yeah, that's my thing. I ask anybody. That's my thing. I got a T-shirt that says Little Angel preschool.
No, you do not.
I don't. But anyway, so that's the thing. I don't know, man. If we were doing suggestion circle right now, that would be my suggestion circle.
Well, we're doing it later. You might as well save it.
Oh no, I got something better. I got something more exciting.
Respect.
I promise.
Respect.
And everybody will agree with this one. Stay tuned.
So let's stay in football. These transitions are so smooth. Last one before we get to Bernard Pollard. We're going to tune it up for Bernard Pollard. One word to describe John Harbaugh.
I'm mad that you brought this up. My one word is Miranda, because I got to exercise my Miranda rights on this one. I'm not saying anything, because you're gonna use it against me. Somebody's gonna use it against me, so I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Fair. My one word is before I introduce my one word. Let's keep in mind there is 2 sides to every story, and we haven't heard one of them. But once you get through with this interview, you're gonna agree with me. John Harbaugh is petty. All right. I mean,
I agree with that. Based on what Bernard said, based on what our good friend Bernie said.
Bernie.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, listen, y'all. This interview's going to be crazy. Maybe for some people it's not going to be that crazy because you don't care about the Ravens, you don't care about Harbaugh, whatever. But it's just a simple fact of what a head coach could have potentially done to a borderline star player. It's pretty crazy. So I don't know. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. But I don't know. Hearing his side was eye-opening.
You said it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, 9-year NFL veteran, former Baltimore Ravens, former Tennessee Titan. What other teams did he play for? A lot of them.
Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans. Did he play for? He played for the Texans.
Yeah, I think that's it then. Baltimore and then Tennessee to end out his career.
There you go.
Strong safety, played alongside Ed Reed, Super Bowl 47 champion. His name's Bernard Pollard. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado. Before we jump into it, are you looking to start a podcast? Seriously, it's easy. I mean, Vic and I did it. If so, you cannot go wrong with using Podbean as your host. We have used tons of different services to host our podcast. I mean, we have used tons, but none have been anywhere near the exceptional hosts that Podbean have been for us. If you're interested in starting a podcast, get 1 month completely free. That's completely free with Podbean. Just go to podbean.com/bandwagon and get 1 month of hosting completely free. That is completely free. Podbean.com/bandwagon, BANDWAGON. Podbean.com/bandwagon for 1 month of podcast hosting completely free. Podbean, the easiest and most affordable way to get started in podcasting. We are joined now by a very, I guess both Vic and I are very excited to bring on. He was a 9-year NFL veteran. most notably 2 years with the Baltimore Ravens, where he was the starting strong safety for that amazing Baltimore defense in Super Bowl 47. His name is Bernard Pollard. Bernard, thank you for joining us today on the Bandwagon.
Thank you guys for having me.
So let's start out. 2 questions for me, and then we'll pass you over to Vic. Well, number one, let's start pretty general. How you doing? What have you been up to, my friend?
I'm good, man. I just picked my kids up. Just picked my kids up from school, and running my business, man. So it's family and running my company, networking, helping high school football players, understand who they are as players, and helping them get to college. So yeah, that's what we're doing with microscout.com.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump into your company, because I think it's quite an incredible thing you're doing with high school kids. But I want to get into, as I brought up before we started recording, kind of the main reason that Vic reached out to you the couple weeks ago, or this past week. And that is about some of the things you've been putting on Twitter and claiming, and you even did some interviews about it prior. But we want to ask you firsthand, Vic being a Ravens fan, me just being an interested and curious and probably nosy football fan. So some of the claims you've been making, if I'm not mistaken, are along the lines of, John Harbaugh, your former head coach, isn't necessarily the greatest football coach, and maybe even it could be, taken as the greatest person. So can you tell me about some of those tweets and claims that you've been putting out there, and explain somewhat of why, and we'll jump even deeper into it.
Well, that tweet that resurfaced the other day came from somebody retweeting what I said. I think it was in 2016. And I mean, what I said in 2016, I'm the type of player where and I urge other players, if you put something on social media, that's exactly what you meant. Don't erase it, because you meant exactly what you typed. And I am a man of my word. If I put something out there, I don't ever look to get on to bash anybody. But when it comes down to sports, when it comes down to especially the game of football, because I don't know any other sport. I know it, but at the same time, I perfected football. I was a part of the less than 1% to be able to be a professional football player. So I did it, and I did it well. So I know a lot about it. I understand the management part of things, and how to play the game. And so when I put that tweet out there, talking about how the Baltimore Ravens wouldn't, they're not going to be who they were, because now you have a handpicked team instead of a team that was, a team that was put together, defensively, offensively, special teams wise, and the players, man, you had this fierce. It was a jungle in that locker room, and now when you have a handpicked team, now you have to coach. You have to do more coaching, because it's your players you brought in. It's just not happening.
So I think the main thing that people are wondering is kind of the specifics about the whole thing. Is Harbaugh not really a good coach and everything because of the dismantling of the Super Bowl team, or is it kind of like how he coaches? Is there something that he does wrong with his coaching style?
Well, as I continue to say, and when I do any kind of interviews or whatever, I'll always I'll speak on what I said, and so for me, as a football player that played in the organization for 2 years, and then was let go, when I say he doesn't, now he has to coach, and that's not possible. Those are the words that I use. I look at it, and Dean Pease, Chuck Pagano was our coordinator first year. Dean Pease came in, and Chuck obviously got the head coach again. We were excited about that. But you look at these guys, the way they coach the players. Dean still has incredible talent on the defensive side of the ball. You look at the talent that him and Chuck had, when we were there. You look at offensively, Coach Caldwell. They brought Coach Caldwell in. Was able to do some incredible things with the players that we had. Coach Harbaugh, and he didn't, and I think Coach Harbaugh, he didn't have to, he couldn't coach, and I mean, he didn't have to coach because they ran the offense, Pease ran the defense, the coaches, they did everything they were, supposed to do as far as getting the players ready. So Harbaugh didn't have to. And I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't even know if he had to, if he knew what to do. He is a special teams guy, and I'm not being mean. Some people are going to take this and they're going to run with it and do whatever. He is a special teams guy. When it comes down to X's and O's on offense and defense, he does not know them. I'm just being 100% honest with you. He doesn't know them. And, and if you look at the interviews, if you look at how he responds to what's going on offensively, what's going on defensively, you get vague answers. Nobody gets a direct, we ran this, we ran that. Look at any head coach in the National Football League, they either predominantly they're calling offensive plays or calling defensive plays, or they're entangled or with some type of play calling. He's not. And that's not to be mean, but people want to know specifics, they want to know understanding. I get facts, and I'll be honest. I'm not trying to be mean, but at the end of the day, when you see the product on the football field, that's what's happening right now.
So, Bernard, so clearly, I mean, quote unquote, one of the things you just said was he not trying to be mean, but he can't coach, basically. So I guess that brings something into my mind that came up in 2013. And you did deny this claim, so I want to know, I mean, obviously you were still a player in the league when you denied this claim, so I want to bring it up again and see if there's any truth to this claim. There was an article released in 2013 using the term mutiny. You and Ed Reed being the main two players brought up. Basically, you guys wanted to call your own shots, for lack of a better term, with that team because, like you said, Harbaugh really, like you said, can't coach. So is there any truth to that article that was released in 2013 trying to state that there was some sort of, like I said, mutiny going on?
Well, I'll be the first to say it wasn't a mutiny. That team was leadership veteran driven. You had a lot of veterans. And if you look at it, the way the NFL is going, they want younger players because younger players won't, they don't so much have a voice. Instead of they don't have a voice, they're going to listen to a lot of what the coaches said. But you have veterans who understand the game. They know how to, do different things and get everybody in line. With our football team, it was not a mutiny. It was Harbaugh opened up the floor. And when he opened up the floor for conversation, especially some things that he said and he lied about them, we called him out on his lie. He didn't like the fact that we called him out on his lie after he opened up the floor. And so this is what happened. So people, media, everybody ran with it and tried to say that it was a mutiny. It was not a mutiny. For any CEO, for any head coach, for any owner, for anybody who runs any kind of program, whatever it is, if you don't want to know the truth, if you don't want to know what your employees or anybody think of you, don't ask. And that's simple. Do not ask. But when you ask and players are telling you, when players tell you, then all of a sudden now you get butthurt because what they're telling you, you don't like. So that was what happened. Every other story behind it is a lie.
And you don't have to name any names here about any players that said anything in this the meeting that you guys held. But what were some of the things that you guys really said to Harbaugh? What are some of the lies that you called him out on?
I won't go into detail, but it was some things that he tried to do because it was once again. It was some things that he tried to do. And when you have somebody that's not used to the play calling, he doesn't know the play calling, but now he just want to go in and try to take over something. And when it happened, we called him out on his lie. He came to me, I'm just going to say me because I'll speak for myself. He came to me and said something, and other people heard. We all heard it. And then now he's trying to backtrack off of what he said. And he went into the game and did exactly what he said he was going to do, and it lit us on fire. And so it's just different. And I don't want, and I'll try to speak, is vague. I'll try to give as much as I can, but at the same time, those are things that have happened. But with him, it was just, that's what it was. It was a lie that he told. We called him out on it when he opened the floor. Nobody was going to say anything, but he opened up the floor. And for me as a man, especially, I'll respect any man in front of me, whatever. There was no disrespect when we called him out on a lie, but at the same time, if you're going to call me a fool and you're going to say, you didn't say something, no, I got to tell you, no, you're lying now. So that's what happened.
So is it safe to say, really, that, you know, there's a lot of players that kind of felt the same way you did? Like maybe even some of the guys on the team right now. You know, how often did you guys talk about this, you know, as a unit?
Well, for us on that team, after we had that meeting, he called the meeting. After we had the meeting, when we all discussed things, you had some guys that sat there and listened. You had a lot of guys that spoke up and spoke out on it. But for us that year, it literally brought us together. And when we left that meeting room, we went to the locker room, literally our entire team, and we said we're going to win the Super Bowl. And we had a conversation in the locker room. We said we're going to win the Super Bowl after having this meeting. And that's what we did. And so, once again, you have a veteran football team that was able to rally the troops. You know, you look at the young players we had, Jimmy Smith, other young players that were contributing to the football team, and we were able to bring that thing together because it wasn't pretty. You know, we were winning games, but it wasn't pretty. And so we were able to, bring things together and take control of what was going on. And obviously, you look at the playoffs, the way Joe was playing, the way the offense was playing defensively, special teams, and we were hitting all cylinders and won a Super Bowl.
Bernard, so let's move away from this. You mentioned the Super Bowl, and I do want to talk about that because obviously what an incredible year that was for you guys. A great defense and offense that was working on all cylinders. I think so that year was kind of interesting for the Ravens, yes. So I guess obviously Ray Lewis, that was his final ride. You had Ed Reed, who that ended up being his final year in Baltimore. You as well being your final year in Baltimore. So what just made everything click toward the end of the year there where you guys went on that phenomenal run, especially Joe, who just killed it in the playoffs? It's a performance, those playoffs that Joe had, that we still talk about today on the show. But seriously, what made everything work in that playoffs, and how special was that Super Bowl win to finally get that ring on your finger?
Well, I think, one of the biggest things with all of us, that meeting kind of, we were able to get, because we were asked, we were able to get some things off of our chest. We also had a panel, myself and probably 10 or 11 other guys, a panel that went back to management to talk about things that we wanted changed or whatever it may be. But, like I said, after that meeting, we literally gelled. We bonded. And we were a team, we bonded anyways, but we were a team that we said, you know what, guys, if one fight, we all fight. In a football game, we all, we played for each other. We communicated like no other. And it's just the proof was in the pudding for how we played the rest of that regular season to the playoffs. Just playing with an energy that we would not allow another team to match at all. And we just sucked the life out of people. Like Joe played phenomenal. Jacoby came with a big catch, obviously. So it was big time for us. And obviously to put the icing on the cake winning the Super Bowl was awesome.
So, you mentioned Jacoby. He's one of the greatest players in if he was on my Mount Rushmore, he would be one of my favorite players ever. But you were there for the so-called Mile High Miracle in Denver in the AFC divisional round. What was going through your mind whenever that was going on?
Well, I think we knew how good Joe was playing. We knew how good the offense was playing, and so we did our job as far as getting a stop, sitting Caton down, not letting their offense do certain things, coming up with I think we came up with a couple turnovers, if I'm not mistaken, and just to let our offense play, get them on the football field, get them, the ball in 5 hands, and I think, we all were sitting with a belief that we were going to win the football game. And to see that football drop into Jacoby's hands and the playing cover 2, he misjudged the ball, took the wrong angle. I don't care what it was. Jacoby caught it and outran everybody. So that was just awesome for us. And that was just, man, it was just, we were excited. Like I said, we had a belief. We were trusting in our offensive players that were on the football field, and we knew we were going to win. And our coordinator and the coach staff, they did a phenomenal job, man. We love it.
And, the Mile High Miracle was great, but there's one thing on the entire Super Bowl run that I continue to watch this day, and it is that hit that you had on Stephen Ridley in the AFC Championship game. I want to know, like, when you hit him and forced that fumble, did you think he was dead?
Well, you know, I am an old school player, and so many people, they come in with a mentality of wanting to go to the Hall of Fame, wanting to win the Super Bowl. I'm a cat that I just want to put fear in you. You know, I am a hitter. I'm going to do my job. I'm not going to do anything to put myself out of position. And so, for me, if you give me a lane and you come running through that lane where my responsibility is, you know, I want to put you down. And so, you know, after that hit happened, I knew I thought he was going to cut outside, so I was kind of leaning to take away the outside. And then when I saw him, you know, step to come up the field, you know, I knew I had a little power behind it. I didn't have as much as I wanted to. I had a little power behind it, and once I was able to connect, I knew I wanted to hit him flush right in his face, but I wasn't able to get him flush in the face. But, you know, to get some helmet-to-helmet contact, when he went down, I really didn't know until, because one of the guys was kind of, I think it was Lloyd, somebody was kind of holding me down. When I looked to my right, and he was snoring, and I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. I mean, just the adrenaline, the excitement, everything was just rushing. And for us to get the ball back, and then, you know, we were watching it on the Jumbotron, when we saw it hit his knee before he actually went down. Oh my goodness, man! I think that gave us the energy that just seriously took the life out of their football team, and that was exciting.
So obviously, Bernard, that this brought back a nickname you earned about a decade ago after you incidentally or accidentally made Tom Brady tear his ACL. You know where I'm headed. The Patriot Killer nickname. Please tell me you love that nickname.
No, man, I don't.
Really?
Yeah, man, I don't. I am on the football field. I am a different type of cat. I'm a different player. When I'm off the football field, I hit the switch, man. I'm cool. I love to love. I love the fellowship. I love to talk and just laugh. But when I talk about football, it's a passion that I have. And, you know, and so many people misconstrue that, and they think anger. They think I'm angry. Well, no, I have a passion for the thing. I played this game since I was 7 years old. I love the game of football because of what it's done for myself and my family. Football has been good to me, and I locked onto some words that I heard from Eddie Kennedy when I first got in the National Football League. You protect that shield, and you do whatever you can, because the men that played before you, they set the path toward you. And I truly believe that. And, you know, I've been a part of that, and I love this game. And so for any coach, any player, for any high school player, for any parent, any fan that try to come up against that to try to tell me something that I know 100% is incorrect, I'm going to challenge you. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm going to challenge you on it. And it's the same thing I'm doing in this situation with Harbaugh. You know, he won't speak out on it. He will not speak out on it because he knows he was in the wrong. Everybody in the organization knows what happened. Our players know what happened. Ozzie knows what happened. And that man is in the wrong. You know, he was insecure. His ego was in the way. And that's the bottom line. And so many people don't understand that. And a lot of people don't want to understand. They don't want to see it. But I only speak facts.
There's something I want to bring up that it pains me to bring up, and it's going to pain you as well, I would think. This is the only moment ever, I think, that I've cried during a sporting event, and that was the 2011 AFC Championship, right? So you know what I'm talking about. That was the worst. That's the worst moment of my life, I think. Obviously, being a diehard Ravens fan, that just killed me. So Billy Cundiff and Lee Evans, they both had they both made some big mistakes into the end of that game. So my main question is, how are they received? You know, the players that were on that team, including you. How do you receive those two guys? Like, does anybody have any contact with them, or have they been shunned? Like, what's going on with that?
No, man. Honestly, for us as football players, we want to win. For us to see where we were at, for Lee to catch the ball and us to go up, and potentially win the game to go to the Super Bowl, or for Billy to tie the game. You know, I knew if that field goal was going in, we were going to a Super Bowl. And, after the game, we were pissed. And I remember webbed through his helmet, and I'm talking about as soon as it landed, I think it hit a locker and just shattered. You know, nobody feels worse than the player. Billy felt awful. Lee thought he had the ball. I think it was McCourty who did a great job getting it out. You know, those guys felt awful. And I think, you know, by the time we got on the plane, people were burning things out in front of Billy's house. So, you know, it hurt us as a team, but we all knew that we wanted to get there again. And I don't remember what player that said it, but, you know, they said we're going to be back here again next year. Don't worry about it. We'll be back here again next year. And a lot of my passion, because of what I truly believe, you know, we set out for that. We accomplished it the next year. Obviously, you're going to make some changes. We made a couple changes. But for us to repeat, you know, be in that situation the next year, go to the Super Bowl, win it, and then for them to blow up our defense, that was a hard pill to swallow. You know, because I truly believe we could have won another one or two Super Bowls without a doubt. I know we could have. And because of ego, because he didn't want anybody who felt threatened, didn't want anybody to be in his way. If you look at it offensively, as far as the coaching staff, as far as each of the players with a voice that he felt threatened by, he got rid of.
So Bernard, let's have a little bit more fun. We'll get off such serious notes, but this is a serious question, but still a fun question. A question we bring up to literally every single one of our guests for the last 2 months, because me and Victor got in a debate about this in July, and it hasn't died down since. So this is going to hit more home to any of our guests for you than it ever has before. It's a question you've heard a lot on Twitter. I don't know if you've ever chimed in on it. I don't know that off the top of my head. The question is, Bernard, are you ready?
Yep.
Is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback?
Okay. I'm one. Some people they're going to dislike me on this. Some people will not agree. But I'm speaking because of what I know. That was my teammate, and that's my dog. I'll fight for Joe David. Joe is really freaking good.
Yes.
Now, where we saw Joe be spectacular in the playoffs, spectacular before, you know, obviously before the contract, did well after receiving the contract that year, but it's kind of been shaky. Well, any quarterback needs a good defense that can continue to get involved. He needs, you know, receivers, guys that high energy guys that's going to, you know, do certain things, make plays. And he needs a couple of those guys. He needs a running game. Joe, right now, there's not a consistent run game. You don't have maulers on the offensive line. You don't have as far as the receivers, you know, I know those guys are banged up. You know, Macklin's he's a competitor, freaking good. The other kid's really good, but Joe is good, and he's good. I would say when he has everything around him, he's elite. Right now, we're not seeing elite because he doesn't have it.
So when's the last time we saw elite? Was it that playoff run that we mentioned before where he threw 11 touchdowns and no picks? Or because this is the debate we're in right now. Like, as of now, I say Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback. Vic thinks he is, obviously. A little bias involved, I assume.
Right.
But what I always say is Joe Flacco had a couple elite runs. I mean, his first couple of years and then that Super Bowl run was absolutely phenomenal. We have never seen anything like it in either of our times. So right now, though, I'd say the last 4 years, he probably has not been an elite quarterback. Is that something you can agree with?
I would regretfully, I would agree with you, just because he hasn't. We're asking him to throw the ball 50 times a game.
Right.
And he didn't have to do that, when we were there. So, if he threw 25 to 30, he made those 25 to 30 count. Well, now when you throw those other 20, 25, 30 on top of that, that makes it tough when he does not have the surrounding cast with him, and offensive coaches, just had what he had there when we were there.
All I'm going to take away from that is that you said he was elite. So we're just going to stop there. So there's two things we love on this show. is confident answers and starting rivalries. There's obviously a rivalry being fueled with you and Harbaugh. That's been going on for a long time. But this is a two-part question. So the first part of this question is, you played with Ed Reed for a long time. You guys are both safeties. Are you better than Ed Reed?
I hit harder. I play to run better. He's faster. He catch better. He's distinctive like no other, like I've never seen before. He's a better playmaker. But I'll take it. I hit harder than him. The run game better than him. I'm taking my responsibility. Ed will float somewhere in a heartbeat. Ed's the greatest player I've ever played with, and he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. Obviously, deserves it. But no, he's the overall better player than I am. But I've never played the game wanting to ever be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care to be in the Hall of Fame. I've never win the Super Bowl. I've never worn my ring. I never will wear my ring. I am a dude where I just enjoy life. And so many people don't even know that about me. And I don't care if they do know or don't know. They care, whatever it may be. But it's phenomenal. He's phenomenal, man. But yeah, I'll take that though. I definitely hit harder.
I like that. So the second part of this question.
I block more kicks.
You
Good
are a big
stat.
pump blocker. I love that about you. So the second part of this question is, I have a list here of some guys in the world named Bernard, and I'm going to go down the list, and I want you to tell me if you're better than them just at life. Does that sound good? All right. So the first one is Bernie Bernard Sanders, the senator. Are you better than him at life?
At life, I would have to say yes.
Okay. Hot start.
How about So how about Bernie Kosar?
Picking everything up. You said Bernie Kosar?
Yeah, Bernie Kosar.
Oh heck yeah! Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, hey, here's a good one. Bernie Mac.
Yeah, I'm living life. So yeah, gotta take over that.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
So you played against this guy, I believe. I don't even remember when he came in the league. You might not have. No, you definitely did. Okay, Giovanni Bernard. His last name is Bernard. It doesn't exactly count, but.
Now that's the running back for the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm living better. Yeah, I'm living better than him.
Oh, I love these confident
And
answers.
My final one. See, I love the confidence. This is what we love on this show. So my last one is your former teammate Bernard Pierce.
Uh-oh.
Yes, heck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll definitely take life over him. Over here.
So what I'm taking away from this is two things. I'll start with number one. You are the best Bernard of all time. You are the GOAT of Bernards.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. Second off, what we just noticed throughout that list of 5 people, a lot of them are called Bernie. So are we allowed to call you Bernie Pollard now? Just us? Just me and Vic?
So, it's funny. So I've never heard anybody call me Bernie until I got to college. And it was a white. Well, actually, it was Coach Tiller. Coach Tiller was he was like, "Well, Bernie, come here." And I was like, what the crap? Like, I've never heard Bernie before. And so he will call me Bernie, man. And, I tell people to this day, only white people call me Bernie. No black people call me Bernie. And that's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, go ahead and call me Bernie.
Awesome. I am white.
I'm as white as they come.
As am I.
So I will call you Bernie.
Perfect.
So here's a big thing. It's bothered me for a long time, Bernard. Or Bernie, sorry. So after y'all won the Super Bowl, y'all had the White House visit, which you didn't go. So on Twitter, I said some things. I was mad. I was in 9th grade. I was a freshman in high school, so I hope you can forgive me. I said some things about you because I was mad. And somebody decided, one of my followers decided, I'm going to at him. I'm going to at Bernard Pollard. So he added you in the conversation, and you kind of went off on me. So I think I got what I deserved. So I think just right now, I'd like for us to officially make up and, squash this 4-year Twitter beef, this almost 5-year Twitter beef that, everybody's been talking about. Dang, It's been a long time. We've been fighting for a long time, and I want everybody to know that me and you are okay, right?
Well, yeah, we're fine, man. As I tell a lot of people gave me flack over that. But, I'm going to tell you this. For me, I would have loved to celebrate with my teammates. I know, and I know the type of person that I am. I am mild-mannered. It's going to take a lot to flip the switch to get you to act out off the football field. Because of what was done, I was in a pissed-off mode. And, as I said, I think it was yesterday during an interview, I was pissed because when Ozzie called me, Ozzie said, Bernard, he said, I'm sorry that I'm having to call you right now. I don't want to let you go. Because I just renegotiated 2 or 3 year extension. And he said, I don't want to let you go. You're everything that I thought you were and more. He said, but John said he cannot get along with you. So we have to let you go. And I'll say something else. For a lot of people that don't understand the reason the Ravens are the way they are, when a head coach, I don't care if he's good, bad, ugly, cute, whatever, fine, whatever anybody wants to say, when he wins a Super Bowl, he unlocks power. That is a fact. When any coach wins a Super Bowl, he unlocks power. That's power to make decisions, to bring in players, cut players, as far as draft decisions, whatever it may be, a raise in his contract, a new contract, whatever. He unlocked that, and he was able to make decisions. And the reason, if we look at it, like I said before, we could have won a couple more Super Bowls if we'd have made a couple changes, but to keep, that kind of that piece, those pieces together, we could have done that. But since he was threatened and didn't want people on that team, he cut us, had us released, and was able to bring in guys that he wanted. Now, those hand-picked decisions, that he hand-picked, they're not panning out.
Wow.
So that's why I was pissed. That's why I didn't go to the White House, because I knew if I went to the White House, I would have been mad the entire time. I don't know if we'd have been rumbling in that White House, because I wouldn't have lost that fight. So we'd have rumbled well. And, Harbaugh would have came back lumped up. But so I know my limitations. And so that's why I did not go to the White House, and I did not go to the ceremony, because, like I said, I was still in my pissed off mode.
Holy shit! So I had no idea. Wow. Okay. I'm at shock, but I'm gonna ask a question. So what I got from that is he literally said, "Don't re-sign Bernard Pollard. We don't get along." Basically.
Well, no, I had already. So a little more backstory. When I got to Baltimore after the lockout, Ozzie called me, and I was in LA, and Ozzie said, Bernard, we want to bring you into Baltimore. He was like, I think you're the piece to kind of bring this thing together. So I came to Baltimore. I got on the red eye, came to Baltimore. When I signed a 1-year deal, because coming off of the lockout, I said, okay, well, that's cool. I'll just sign a 1-year deal. I'll prove myself to you, whatever it may be. I want to be here with this team because I fit in with this team. When I signed with this football team, Harbaugh didn't want me. He knew I was another guy because he already had Ray Lewis who speaks out, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed, Haloti Ngata. And you just had a lot of guys that spoke out. Kerry Williams, some dudes like that. And so he didn't want me to be on that team. So when practice started, he told them he put me at 3rd or 4th string safety. I ain't never been on the bench in my life. So now this is what he did. So if you remember, if we go back to the beginning of the 2011 season, I didn't start. Zibikowski started. Well, I'm looking at a safety that he has no kind of experience playing over me when he shouldn't have been playing over me, and was getting beat left and right in that first game, I believe it was. And they had me in those big nickel packages. And then so I went to Ozzie and I said, I didn't come here to sit the bench. I'm too talented to be sitting the bench. I can't help this team win if I'm sitting the bench. Ozzie made them make a decision. And when all the coaches, the secondary coach, which was CA and Terrell Austin and Chuck Pagano, they said, we can't do this no more. You're starting. Harbaugh didn't want me to. And so this is where that happened. And I renegotiated the contract after that year I was there, an extension already. did not want me on the football team because he said he could not get along with me.
Oh my God.
Those are his words. I have no reason to lie. Those are his words. He wanted me cut because he couldn't get along with me. He was threatened. Anybody that he felt threatened by, any player, any coach, they're gone.
And has he reached out to you at all during this time? I mean, when was the last time you spoke to him?
I've never spoke to him. I haven't spoke to him after winning the Super Bowl. I didn't even talk to him after winning the Super Bowl. You know, so it was, we didn't have a relationship where him and I talked like that anyway. You know, especially after the when he opened the floor, he really didn't want to talk to me then. You know, but I'm not the type of player where I'm not going to kiss your butt to keep a job. I'm not going to disrespect anybody. I promise you, I'm not going to disrespect. But if I'm a real man. I am an honest man. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to tell you the truth. When you ask me. And so that's what happened. I'm a player. I'm a leader. I will help do whatever I need to do to help the team win. But I will not allow anybody to just walk over me. If that means I got to lose my job, that means I lost my job. But as a man, I will not allow you to walk over me. And he wanted to walk over me. He wanted a yes man, and I'm definitely not that.
So moving away once again from the serious stuff, just a little bit. We have so I've asked a couple of listener questions. I forgot to mention they were listener questions. But one listener question that I got that I want to ask you is just, you know, a little thing. You know, you play with guys like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs. You know, which one out of those three especially, or mainly really out of Lewis and Reed, which one of them watched more film and prepared more and, you know, worked harder when it comes to that kind of stuff?
And watch more film. I mean, I was, first of all, that's what I do with my business. I love watching film, and I thought I watched too much film. Ed would watch film all night long, all morning long. And, I mean, that's why he was so good at what he was doing. That's why he could float the way he float, because he knew what was happening. And, Ed flies hard.
Well, Bernard, that's all we got for you. We went way over what we told you we were going to, so we appreciate you being so gracious with your time. Man,
thank you guys for having me.
You've been phenomenal, and we hope to speak soon, man. We appreciate it so much.
Oh, man, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Take care, Bernard. Wow. All I have is wow. I can't say much more.
Right?
I can't say much more.
All right.
That was something.
I told you it was going to be a good interview. I told you.
Interesting.
Bernard Pollard doesn't disappoint.
He doesn't. He really did not disappoint. He exceeded expectations and his time limit. So what a man.
Let me shed some light on some stuff real quick. What he said about Coach Harbaugh, it's insane. The fact that potentially, allegedly, a coach could hold someone back from starting games just because they don't like him. They could cut him from the team just because they don't like him. It's kind of messed up. So obviously we don't know the entire story. I'd love to talk to Coach Harbaugh about it and see how he feels, see what he has to say about the whole thing. But just hearing Bernard's side, it's kind of sad in a way, because this is a dude who, you know, obviously really wanted to be in Baltimore, said he fit right in with the team. You know, I don't know. It sucks, and the fact that he also said they could have won a couple more Super Bowls, like, I don't know, man. It's sad. Obviously he's not too sad about it. He's more pissed off than anything.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Which is understandable. Yeah. So the thing is, did you notice that he's so mad at Harbaugh? Like, we would be talking about something random, and he'd just be like, "Yeah, but this is about Harbaugh,"
yeah.
and then like say something else about Harbaugh, and it's like, I love how fired up he was. Like, he wanted to talk about Harbaugh.
He did, and it was almost petty for him as well. I won't use that word, but it was like he wanted to, because that's how we got this interview. We wanted to talk about that. So I think he was so stuck on the fact that that's why we brought him in. But we also wanted to talk about other stuff too. But he kept going back to Harbaugh, and I was just like, oh, all right, I'll talk about it. This is super interesting, so I'll talk.
I mean, why not? The more details he wants to give us, the better.
Listen.
Like, I'm fine with that. The thing is, you saw so many times in the interview he was saying things like you could tell he's being apprehensive because he didn't want to bring something up. Like, I feel like there's much more to the story about like the mutiny or the alleged mutiny, the meeting and everything, and just everything about the entire situation that he just obviously couldn't tell, because like the question about like what exactly did Harbaugh lie about and things like that, he couldn't exactly say. So I don't know. I wish you would have told us a little more, but I guess I understand why you couldn't.
Correct. So let's move on. Thanks again to Bernard Pollard. That was fantastic. We didn't even get to ask him a bunch of stuff we wanted to ask about. So we'll have to have him back and talk a little bit more. But let's move on. Let's just play the sound effect, why don't we, huh? So that's right. It's time for You Ask, We Answer. So this is where, well, Vic, you go ahead.
This is where we go to the epitome of knowledge, which is Yahoo Answers, and we gather, some of y'all's questions. I know people have a bunch of questions about just, sports, life, astronomy, everything. And, we kind of think we're very high intellectuals here on the show. We don't really show that a whole lot, but we're very, very good at everything. So we just want to, take this time to answer some of the questions that y'all ask. So here we go. The first question I've got, Alex, is a good one. It's a good sports related one. Good one to start us off with. Is golf the stupidest sport ever invented?
I don't know how to so stupidest as in it's a stupid idea, or like it's a stupid sport as in it's like an uncool sport, or like it doesn't take much knowledge or smartness, if you will, to play the sport. I don't understand the question.
I'm gonna go with the question is it's just the stupidest concept.
Hitting a ball into a hole. No, I'm gonna say it's not.
What is the stupidest sport?
Concept-wise? Boxing.
That's a good one, actually.
Just beating each other's faces in? That's a dumb concept.
I've got a better one. You ready? Curling.
Oh.
Curling is terrible to watch. You just slide a thing down ice, and then you go by it with brooms.
So, yeah, I was actually going to say bowling, which is sort of similar in a way. Okay. I like it.
Except curling, you don't knock anything down. Curling is oh man, I'm so not excited for the Winter Olympics. It's insane. Anyway, we'll talk about that in February. Next question. Cat or dog or hamster? Your choice.
Repeat the question, and who's it from?
Cat or dog or hamster? Your choice. This is from a user named Melons.
Okay, Melons. Melons, here's my answer. My answer is dog. Because hamsters are ugly and annoying, and I'm allergic to cats.
Whoa, you're allergic to cats?
Slightly. Yeah, I mean, cats are adorable, but I just get really gross when I'm by them. So dogs is my answer.
Okay, I'm down with that. You know what? I'm gonna go cats. I love me some dogs, but cats they're great. They can be snuggly sometimes. They're furry. I like cats a lot. Hamsters
do suck.
That's
we're
all I've got to say.
Here. Hamsters are the worst domesticated animal on the planet.
Ooh. Yeah, no, yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Okay, moving on.
Next question. I just looked through my telescope and saw a planet heading straight for us. What do I do?
What's this guy's name? Do you have a username for this one?
Yeah, it's a procrastinator.
All right, dear
You get the reference.
Dear procrastinator, that was the moon. Sincerely, Alex.
I like it. I just like how if you really sit here and think, okay, a planet is coming towards Earth, and you think everybody's gonna die or something like that. Why in the world are you sitting here on Yahoo Answers trying to ask questions?
Right, that's a good point.
If I actually thought that, I'd be freaking out.
It's the epitome of knowledge, though, so maybe people have the answers.
That's true. Maybe he could get, somebody like some crazy scientist to help blow it up or something like that. Maybe he just thought.
Yeah,
see,
we're gonna look really dumb in like a day when it's not the moon and it's this crazy big UFO that like destroyed Texas.
You think that's gonna happen? It's possible. It's possible. The next one, speaking of planets, actually it has nothing to do with planets. How do you feel about pirates? The ones from the 17th and 18th centuries, not modern day or movies. So no Jack Sparrow type stuff. Real pirates.
So
he's a fake pirate.
Hardee's or Carl's Jr. is my first question.
You're asking me this? It's called Hardee's, but it's atrocious. It's the worst restaurant I've ever been to.
I think it's delicious, but that's beside the point. I went to Hardee's on Thursday night, so last night, and I saw a man with an eye patch who had like a really raspy voice. I swore he was a pirate. I even said to my friend, "That's a pirate. I'm gonna go get a parrot." So, do I believe in pirates, or what do I think of them?
How do you feel about them?
Well, I feel like Hardee's is a low-class restaurant for a pirate.
I have a question. Answer. Maybe. What's the point of eye patches?
You don't have an eye that works, so you don't want to freak people out about it not moving.
I guess that makes sense.
Or maybe you don't have an eye.
Oh, nice. That's true. But the thing is, wouldn't you look really cool not having an eye? Everybody would be like, "Wow, what happened?" And then you have to tell them. But I feel like if you have an eye patch, everybody's just like, "Oh, he's a pirate again."
Well, no. Because like, if you don't have an eye, what if you like open it a little bit and you can see directly into your brain? Isn't oxygen bad for your brain?
Oh, you've got a point.
Yep.
That might kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That makes sense. Okay.
Especially when it's negative. What did I say it was today? Or not negative? 13 degrees out, below freezing. His brain could be frozen legitimately, like not the ice cream kind.
Could you eat a frozen brain?
Wait, what?
Anyway, wait. I thought you said it was 31 degrees outside, not 13.
13 with the wind chill.
But it was 31.
It was 24, I think.
As you told me, we were on the phone earlier. You said yes, 31.
I don't remember, dude. I can go check.
All right. Anyway, so I think you're lying to either me or our listeners, and I don't respect either one of that.
Well, it's currently currently 14. Feels like 4.
Okay, that's nothing. You should suck it up. Quit crying. All right. Next, here's a good one. It's in the category of homeschooling. Why we are not feeling the rotation of Earth movement?
Well, a couple things. Number one, this person needs to go to public school because they just said how we are.
This is why we are.
Oh, okay, whatever. Oh, so that's even worse. Because everything was built sideways, or to an angle, so you don't feel it. It was all science when they built the Earth. Tell them that. Comment on it. Do it now.
Okay, I'll comment on it. I'll win the best answer. No, my answer is here's the thing. I don't think we're moving.
Ooh.
I don't think we rotate.
We just sit here.
Because think about it. What's the point of rotating? You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's no point. I mean, I guess if you didn't rotate, the sun wouldn't be on one side of the Earth forever.
I guess if we didn't rotate, it wouldn't be 14 degrees out like 2 weeks after it was 70. So yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Have you been to Europe ever?
I have not.
So it could potentially be really dark over there all the time. We don't know.
You're right.
It could be pitch black there right now.
We should honestly be scientists. This is a good point.
I think we're already there. So I've already got my PhD. I know you're working on it. So, let's move on to the next one. Here's a good psychology question.
That's the one.
Why are some people weird?
Oh.
Why can't they be normal?
Why can't they be normal?
It's better to be normal. Weird isn't right at all.
This is what this person said?
That's what he said. Or she. We don't like to discriminate. That's what they said.
What category did it put this in?
Friends.
Okay.
So it's not that.
So they didn't elaborate on what they meant at all. They just said, "Why are people weird? Normal is better."
Why are some people weird? Why can't they be normal? It's better to be just normal. Weird isn't right at all.
I don't get this.
I don't understand either. Because what's normal?
I don't get it.
Because technically, I feel like putting this question on Yahoo Answers isn't normal. To just randomly be like, hey, why are people weird? Like, I think this person's kind of weird. You want to know something else that's weird? They sent in an anonymous question, which is not very common on Yahoo Answers for my thing. So that's kind of weird.
Is a little weird. You're right.
They don't want people to know who they are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Here's a good one, Alex.
I like good ones.
And I think we can answer this one, or we know someone who can. Is Selena Gomez ticklish?
We know somebody who can.
And who is that?
Her and the Biebs are back together. Woo! Biebs.
That's the real power couple right there. Yes, sir.
Biebs and Selena are back.
Biebs. Yes, sir. Hey, technically, we're friends with Justin Bieber.
How so?
Because, you know the whole 6 degrees of separation thing?
Yes.
Ain't it like your 6 something? I don't know. I'm not good at life. We're friends with Special K, right?
Yes.
We had him on the show last week. He's friends with Justin Bieber.
Oh.
Or he's spoken to him at least. So therefore, we're friends with Justin Bieber. So
you got it.
So we're gonna get him on the show and ask him this very question, and hopefully he would answer.
Huh.
Because I want to know if she's ticklish as well. Isn't everybody ticklish?
Probably in some way, shape, or form. I'd imagine so. But I don't have the answers.
No, I thought we were scientists. All right. Here's a good one. This is the first one with an emoji.
Oh yes.
Yeah. If you swallow fire, does it make you hot? Fire emoji.
So physically, or like literally, like warm, or like damn, you're attractive, like.
Well, they put it in the newborn and baby category. So
wait a minute.
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Does that help?
So did their child like swallow a lit cigarette and then had a fever or something?
Oh, that's a good question. Hey, but the baby's probably like on the brink of death right now.
Oh boy.
Because it ate something.
And now has a fever.
Yeah, a really high fever. I think this person needs to worry about taking care of their baby, and not posting on the epitome of knowledge. So
you're right.
But here's what I'm gonna read some of the comments real quick. It makes you dead. Bon appetit. Yep. Smoking, mate. LOL. Obviously it does. No, it makes you burn inside. Literally. Yeah, feel the burn.
Burn.
Yeah, they're hype. Burn. Let's move on. We got two more. Got two more. Got to finish strong. Here's the thing. I think we're gonna have a debate about this one. My girlfriend left her glasses on my side of the bed on the floor, and I stood on them and broke them. Is it her fault or mine?
So it's her fault, and here's why. So he said she left it on his side of the room. So this bed is basically like, the Great Wall of China, right? Or what's a monumental wall or line or something?
That one was pretty monumental.
Okay. Well, then let's go with the Great Wall of China. On one side you have Todd, and on the other side you have Brittany, right? And on Todd's side, it's his dirty underwear, maybe his contact solution, his alarm clock that he wakes up at 5:30 to go to the shop for, other stuff of that sort, right? And then on Brittany's side, you got her smelling good perfume, some lotion, her like pretty pink alarm clock that wakes up at 7:30 to go teach her English class, and they might have been like, having some fun between the sheets or whatever, and she threw her glasses down on the floor. They both forgot about it. He woke up in the morning and stepped on them. If you were going to put, like, let's say you throw a basketball over the Great Wall of China, if a different kid goes and picks it up, you can't get angry because you threw it to the other side of the Great Wall of China. So, her fault, final answer.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that. Like, I'm really glad you just told us all about their lives, because I was wondering what they did for a living. But, yeah, background is important. But here's the thing, and this is why you're not good with love. It doesn't matter who if she put them there, it doesn't matter because it's gonna be your fault, right? So it needs to be your fault.
Oh.
Like, the girl's not wrong, right? it's all you have to blame yourself. Like, the minute you start thinking, uh-oh, it's your fault, as soon as that almost comes out of your mouth, you're like, nope, nah, I can't do that.
You're
That's
right.
not
It's
gonna
always
be
the
good.
man's fault.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying this guy needs to suck it up, apologize, buy new glasses, whatever, and make Brittany happy. Because I guarantee he makes decent money at the shop. So he needs to, put some of that towards
Right.
her.
That's a good point.
See, there you go. That's a tip for all the male listeners out there. Or female listeners who also have girlfriends. We don't discriminate. Very progressive on the podcast. So we got one more.
Yeah, I'm
You
ready.
This is gonna hit very
boy.
close to home. Because we're big fans of these guys.
Oh, long snappers or garbage
The
men?
garbage. It's
Yes.
garbage men. The garbage men didn't wave to my son. Can I sue?
You'll lose.
Why?
Garbage men always win.
That's
They're
the truth.
underappreciated, aren't they, Victor?
That's very underappreciated. Listen, guys, I don't know if you've ever listened to the show, all the new listeners out there. We love 3 things. We love 4 things on the show. Confident answers, starting rivalries, long snappers, and garbage men.
That's
Right?
that's like
So,
like if we were to take 5 on things we love, those would be 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Right. And then we'd have to figure out another one. Bernard Pollard is another one we love. There you go. So, yeah, long snappers and garbage men are extremely underappreciated. Like we said, I love mid-major schools. I love the underdogs. So that's why in this situation, we can't have little Billy sitting here thinking you can sue anybody just because they don't wave at you. There's probably reasons they didn't wave at you, little Billy. Maybe it's just creepy and you stare at them all day. You're making them feel like zoo animals.
Tell
so
Mother
quit.
Phyllis to fix that bowl cut, you douche.
What?
I don't know.
What? Yeah, you tell her. Feel the burn.
Screw you, Phyllis.
Wow, Phyllis. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, we're going really downhill. All right. What's next?
Oh, I don't even know anymore. Oh, suggestion circle. You want to suggest some stuff?
Nice. I like suggested stuff. Are you gonna go first?
I mean, I guess I can, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm about to poop on our entire argument we had about, about an hour ago about the college football playoff. You know what they really need to do? My suggestion, with a circle, of course, S-I-R, did I spell that right? S-I-R-C-L-E, suggestion circle with an S, is that, well, when we circle up here, we suggest things. So here I go to suggest, I don't know, I'm talking in a circle. That's what I'm doing right now.
You just need
Yeah,
to go.
I do. I feel like, like when you go to a cave and you're about to jump into a lake, and like, it looks like a long fall, but it's really not that long, and nobody's ever gotten hurt doing it, but you're still really scared to jump. That's me right now. So anyway.
Did you say something about a cave?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Listen, hold on. I'm pausing the show. No, I'm pausing the show. What's wrong with you today? You bring up cave metaphors. Earlier on Twitter, you just randomly started talking about if we say hello to people, if we didn't say hello to people, would the world be different? Or something like what are you trying to do here? Why is your mind just really abstract today? What's going on? Yeah.
I'm woke.
Yeah, you're not, but that's all right.
Unbelievable.
Oh man. All right, suggest something so we can get this thing over with. So we can get your part over with and get to me, because I'm.
All right,
better.
so I'm going to bring up an argument we had earlier about the college football playoff. I'm going to poop on that argument because my suggestion is that we stop releasing the college football polls so early. It creates these nonsense arguments, and it creates these unnecessary scenarios that need to happen. So in a necessary scenario example is the one I brought up with Wisconsin. This team needs to win out to make the football playoff. Georgia and Alabama, clearly two of the best teams, if not, most likely, the 2 best teams we've seen all year in college football. And one of them probably won't end up making the playoff because, like you said, Vic, earlier during our argument, conference champions are valued more than whatever there'll be an 11-1 team or a 12-1 team who's been killing everybody. They beat Notre Dame, who will probably get in. If Georgia loses to Alabama in the conference championship, they'll get in. If Alabama loses, they're out. You're probably right. It's just insanity to me. It creates, like I said, unnecessary conversations and unnecessary possible, probably unnecessary scenarios. Ugh. Just wait until the week before conference championships so we know, if Wisconsin wins here, they're in. You can create your own in your head as we lead up to that week. But waiting 7 weeks for these football playoffs to update, and they don't even change, I just find it absolutely ridiculous. So my suggestion is we wait until the week before or the week leading up to the conference championships, and that way we know what needs to go down in order for it, because those are necessary scenarios. And it annoys me that we're talking about this where we have an 8-0 team and a 9-0 team at 7 and 8 respectively in the poll, but we have a bunch of one-loss teams the 5 spots ahead of them. And even though they haven't played anybody, Miami's playing a big game this week, but that's beside the point. It's still absolutely ridiculous. Rant over.
I disagree with that, though. Because here's 2 things. Me and you, we're part of the media, right? We need this. If the rankings didn't come out, we would have nothing to talk about. They pretty much they released the rankings for guys like us that are like, well, we got to do our job, so you got to release them. But also, they do it for the simple fact that I guess it's like a consistency thing. I'm not a consistency, like a transparency thing, more or less. It's kind of like, okay, here's how we know they're thinking right now. So they can't just all of a sudden with the very last rankings, they can't flip and have like 3 teams that are currently in it come out. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like a way for us to keep tabs on the College Football Playoff Committee, who I think is sketchy. Very sketchy. I don't like them. But I understand. I see where you're coming from. Now it's time for me. And it's like I said, this is something I think everybody will agree with. Maybe. Hopefully. This past Saturday, speaking of college football, at about, 2 p.m.? Something like that? Or not 2 p.m., 2 a.m. So I guess it was Sunday morning. We all flipped our clocks back.
Ooh, yes, we did.
Did you enjoy that?
I didn't really have to do anything because I don't have any electric clocks. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh, my car. I did my car.
Oh, there you go. But I always love when it's like 1:59 on my phone, and then it changes minutes, and it's back to 1 o'clock. I always love looking at that. So I did that. But anyway, so that's great. We get an extra hour of sleep or an extra hour of chilling. Whatever. It's great. It's perfect. For that one night, it's perfect. But for the rest of the year, daylight saving time, apparently. It's not daylight savings time. I learned that the other day. Yeah, I did some research. Daylight saving time is stupid. It ruins everything. I walk out of my classes and stuff. It's like 5 o'clock. It's pitch black outside. That's not how this is supposed to work. That's not how the world is supposed to work. My suggestion is that we do away with the stupid daylight saving time. I don't want to have to worry about. Like, listen, man. I went to work, right? It was the Monday after daylight saving time happened. It was the past Monday. I had to get the clock off the wall and change the clock. It took me like 15 minutes because I'm a millennial. I don't know how to change a regular clock. I can't even read a regular clock, right? It's stupid. I don't want to ever have to worry about it. I want the time to stay the same always. I don't want to mess with pitch blackness. I don't want to mess with anything. Like, if we don't get the extra hour, I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. But listen, man. Listen. Here's the thing, man. Listen. Daylight saving time is pointless. If you can give me one good reason why we have it, I'll shut up. Okay. Can you give me a good reason?
Yes, I can. It has to.
Why?
So
what
since
is it?
We're scientists, it has to do with how the Earth actually does. This is fitting. We had this up earlier. Goes around in its spinning axis or whatever, however it is. We go around the sun. It comes out to like a certain amount of something, and you have to. I don't know how it works, but
it doesn't work. It's made up. Here's the thing. Franklin Delano Roosevelt or Lyndon B. Johnson, one of those old white guys, and it's not alive anymore, they sat here and said, you know what, I'm going to create daylight saving time.
Hold on, wait a minute. No. I was thinking of leap years.
Wow, that's different. Yeah, that's a conspiracy too. I don't think those exist. I think we just added an extra day somewhere randomly. But that's beside the point. Listen, there's no point for daylight savings time. It's not scientifically necessary. It's not anything necessary. You want to know something, Alex? The state of Arizona doesn't do daylight saving time. The Cardinals don't do daylight saving time. The Coyotes don't do daylight saving time. The Phoenix Suns don't do daylight saving time. The Diamondbacks don't do daylight saving. You get my point. So why should we?
Right.
I think there's probably other states that don't do it either. My state does it. 95% of the country does it. It's stupid. I want it to be abolished. I don't think I've ever been this passionate about a suggestion in my life. So I'm going to, if there's a big United States suggestion box, I'm writing a big, huge cardboard, plain-sized piece of paper, and I'm sticking it in that suggestion box because I don't want daylight saving time anymore. I want it to be daylight all the time. I don't want it to be nighttime really early anymore. I'm really tired.
So move on.
And it's like you get tired when you, man. You know what I mean? It's BS. It's got me upset. I don't want to be upset.
How about you, before you go to bed? Just continue to your bandwagon, and then you can go to bed.
All right. You want to know something else I hate?
What's that?
Real quick. Military time. I hate when people use that, but that's beside the point. It makes me mad because it's not 15 o'clock. It's 3 p.m. But
I think we should use military time. It's way easier because then you don't have two of the same ones.
It's not way easier. Because now we got to learn something else. We got to learn a whole different time.
Well,
system.
we should have learned military in the first place.
Well, why don't we use Fahrenheit? Exactly. Let me move on.
Why do we use yards instead of meters?
Right, that's
America
what I'm saying.
doesn't make
Metric
sense.
System. I want to move. That's all right. But except for the fact that it's pitch black in Europe all the time because there's no sun over there, so we can't go over there. So we got to stay here. Let's chill out for a second. I got a bandwagon I got to jump on. This is going to be kind of a serious bandwagon. We're getting real serious this episode some of the time.
It's been all over the place.
All right.
We've been all over the place.
We have. It's been a wild ride. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. So my bandwagon I'm jumping on is redemption. Because a guy named Flash is coming back. You know who Flash is, right?
Enlighten me.
Right. You'll know when I say his name. This guy is a potential Hall of Fame player. Or I thought he was a Hall of Fame player. Not sure if he is now. But he's been in the news recently. He got reinstated by the National Football League. My man Josh Gordon's back.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Let me talk. I'll get there. Josh Gordon is the man. Josh Gordon is one of the greatest receivers you will ever watch play. The problem is, so many people haven't got the opportunity to see him play. He's battled with a ton of drug abuse, alcohol abuse. In an interview with GQ this past week, he mentioned how he would drink before every single football game, and how he would take shots before football games somehow. He said he thinks that he's been under the influence every single game in his NFL career, under the influence of something. So that's pretty crazy, especially because in 2012, 2013, the dude was on top of the world. Yeah. This guy is in the likes with Calvin Johnson. He was that fun to watch. He's speedy. He's an amazing wide receiver. Only issues are he had the whole drug abuse, alcohol abuse problem. He had the whole Cleveland Browns problem. He played for the Browns. He still does. Bottom line is, my man Josh Gordon's back. He's going to start wrecking again. Maybe not this year because he hasn't played a regular season game since 2014. But he's back. And he seems like finally he's going to stay back. He's not going to get involved in pot anymore. He's not going to get popped for drug tests. He looks like he's finally open enough about everything, and he's going to be all right. And here's the thing, Alex. It's going to be amazing for every single fan in the National Football League because now we finally get to see the potential Hall of Famer Josh Gordon. Is he going to get there now? No. Would he have gotten there had he played the last few years? Probably. He is amazing at what he does. It's going to be amazing to see him back on the field. And hopefully one day we'll have him on the show because I would love to have a conversation with this guy. Welcome back, Josh Gordon. We missed you. Stay sober.
Well, welcome back, Josh Gordon. So the bandwagon I'm jumping on, we're going to stick with football. We're also going to talk about a little basketball. We'll make it quick, though. The bandwagon I'm jumping on, I always pick the abstract names. Vic, you've accredited me for that quite a few times. So this one's not that abstract. It's just thrilling W's. But it's an abstract bandwagon. So let's start on the football side of things. So we saw the worst pregame speech ever brought to you by Jameis Winston, the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To give you an idea, if you didn't see it, so he made so let's make a W with your four fingers across your middle and ring finger across each other, and then hold up your pinky and your pointer, and you got a W, right? So in the middle of a huddle of his full team, I believe, or full offense at least, Jameis Winston started licking his fingers one by one and started saying, "You taste that? Tastes good. Who wants to eat a W?" And he kept saying, "Who wants to eat some W's?" Well, they went on to lose that game, so that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, I saw a meme as well that made me laugh. When you get extra butter on your finger, or when you have leftover butter on your fingers from the crab's legs you stole, throwback. And then the other thrilling W I have is a real win. The first ever franchise win in the first ever franchise game for the G League brand new expansion team, the Wisconsin Herd, right up the road in Oshkosh. They beat Xavier Munford for the Herd, hit a corner three-pointer with a second left to put them over the Rio Grande Valley Vipers in their both season and home franchise openers. And he put them over the top with a buzzer beater victory. So thrilling W indeed.
Did you just bring up the G League on this
did.
show? Yeah, you need to be exiled.
Wow.
We don't talk about that on this show. We talk about real basketball. The Big Three. That's what we talk about. Long live Ice Cube. Did you see that picture of Deshaun Jackson standing behind Jameis Winston?
No, I didn't.
When he was doing that pregame speech, Deshaun Jackson's eyes were just like wide open, and like you could tell he was in shock of what he was witnessing. It was hilarious, and I guarantee Jameis Winston's never making another pregame speech again.
I hope not. It was,
and nor he shouldn't. Yeah,
it was
he
awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this wasn't awful for all of you. Thank you so much for tuning into today's edition of the Bandwagon Sports Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_Strofe. You can find Vic on Twitter at Frezeal, FREZEAL33. You can find the show on Twitter at Bandwagon_pod, normal spelling. And you can connect with the show on Twitter using hashtag BandwagonPod. Thanks again to Bernard Pollard for joining us today. And we will talk to you all on Tuesday when a very special guest, holder of the year, joins us. So long, farewell.
Goodbye.
My name is Victor Renzi, how do you do? I'm walking home in the streets of blue. I'm a type of life and I couldn't be prouder. My least favorite food is Boston clam chowder. I hate Boston so and all their teams. If I have the words to be, fuck you, Tom Brady. I hate the bats and I hate Tom Brady. I hate the bats and I hate Tom Brady. I hate the bats and I hate Tom Brady. I hate the bats and I hate Tom Brady. I love a thing from Boston, no. He's a commissioner of my show. I love a thing from Boston, no. And his name is David Allen Gross. Love one thing from Boston,